Doctor Who, The Rescue, the 11th story of the first Doctor, is written by David Whittaker and starring William Hartnell, William Russell, Jacqueline Hill and Maureen O'Brien. So this episode was only written to introduce a new companion to replace the Doctor's granddaughter, Susan. Verity Lambert originally wanted Pamela Franklin to play Jenny from the Dalek Invasion of Earth to continue Susan's replacement. So Lambert changed her mind. David Whittaker wanted to do a two-part story. The names for Vicky was going to be Valerie, Lukey and Millie, taking the inspiration from Millie Small, but the name is considered to be a comedian. Too similar to Millicent Martin, and the story was going to be called Doctor Who and Tanny, which is another name considered for Vicky. So in episode 1, The Powerful Enemy begins with Vicky running inside a crashed spaceship, letting Bennett know that the rescue ship arrives, but Bennett was unsure and told her to watch out for Carkelian. So Vicky went to the radio to see if it was a rescue ship. So the TARDIS arrived at the cave and the Doctor seems to be upset about leaving Susan. So as Barbara and Ian went out, the Doctor decides to have a nap. So Ian and Barbara ended up meeting Carkelian and wanting the Doctor. So Ian goes to fetch him, and after that Barbara ended up falling off the cliff. If I watched it on live in 1965, I would be thinking that Barbara dies, but thank God she didn't. So the Doctor realises he's on the planet Dido in 2493 and he has been there before. So Ian found the Doctor. Meanwhile, Carkelian confronts Vicky about going outside of the ship. So he went to another room and Vicky uncovered the blanket to reveal that Barbara is still alive. What a relief. So Vicky was upset that she's stuck on the planet and she lets Barbara meet Bennett. While the Doctor and Ian sees the creature in the pit, they get caught up in a trap and Ian was about to get impaled by those metal spikes. William Hartnell again is a fantastic Doctor. William Russell and Jacqueline Hill as Ian Chesterton and Barbara Wright are amazing as well. Maureen O'Brien played Vicky and you'd be thinking that her last name isn't revealed. Well, it did in the Phantom Wiki. She's called Vicky Pallister, not Victoria, who's an orphan from Earth to go to Astra, but ended up landed on Dido in 25th century. I think Maureen O'Brien is great as Vicky. She's so likeable and intelligent. Maureen came out of the drama school when she was casted, and it's her first acting on television, which is cool. And Sydney Newman told her that they were considering having her hair cut and dye it black. But Maureen said no and said, why don't they just get Carol Ann Ford back, which I'm glad she refused, as she looks great the way she is, and the companions doesn't have to have short black hair. Ray Barrett played Bennett, who crashed the ship and turns out to be a murderer and disguised himself as Carkelian. Tom Sheridan played a captain of spacecraft called the Seeker, who was supposed to rescue Vicky and Bennett, but yeah, the casts did a great job, and I love the 1960s Dalek theme, it gives me the goosebumps. So in episode 2, Desperate Measures, Ian swings himself around from spikes, which surprisingly Indiana Jones didn't do. And I loved his line when he said, "The executioner sounds disappointed." So the Doctor and Ian finds a way out. Meanwhile, Bennett was passing out in the bed, so Barbara and Vicky helped him to get to his room, advising them to do what Carkelian says. So then Vicky sees the creature and Barbara killed it, which made Vicky upset and throwing tantrums, which is a sad moment. So the Doctor and Ian walked in and he gave Vicky a tissue while she gets upset. The Doctor asked Ian and Barbara to leave them two alone to chat. We get a nice moment when the Doctor talks to Vicky and making her feel better. So the Doctor went to another room to see Bennett, then Ian and Barbara returned and they revealed to Vicky that they're from 1963 and time travelled. The bit where Vicky tells Ian and Barbara that they must be 550 years old and they laughed is pretty amusing. I have to admit, it crackled me up. So the Doctor goes into Bennett's room and he noticed that there's no one there, but there is a trapdoor. So he goes underground and he finds out that Bennett disguised himself as Carkelian. So while Ian, Vicky and Barbara walks out of the ship, Bennett reveals that he murdered the crew member on the ship. So we get an awesome fight between the Doctor and Bennett with the explosions. Didoin arrived just after the Doctor is knocked out, and the next thing it happened, he woke up in the TARDIS. Apparently Didoan were a very peaceful race on Dido, so the Doctor offered Vicky if she wanted to travel with him. Barbara, Ian and Vicky agreed with each other, and she's surprised to see the inside of the TARDIS. So yeah, Vicky becomes a new companion. So the captain calls on the radio in that spaceship, but the Didoan came and destroyed the radio.
This is rescue ship calling.
The TARDIS landed on the cliff and fell, which leads to next episode. So yeah, I think the story has done well for low budget. Vicky's development is great, and I really like this story. What's your thoughts on both Rescue Part 1 and 2? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.